Alright, so I have two paragraphs about key issues. I have my paragraph about implications to write and a conclusion, but I am running low on time, so I'm going to kind of go through this quickly. Part of it's because I've been explaining things as I go, but I do want to stay close to what an actual test timing would look like. So, to be to the point, let's talk about the implications for community. Along with these different issues for consideration, there are even further implications for our community. Consider the I'm going to go back to the second part of my outline, which is the limited options, because I think I can explain that a little bit more succinctly. First, consider those limited options. For communities like my own, where local produce is limited, a strict adherence to the locavore diet would be greatly limiting. In other words, food options for those communities would be limited, and therefore there would be nutritional deficiencies in those diets. Even the local economy, which proponents argue would be bolstered, would see problems. Well, that's not true, because the local economy, yes, that's one thing I want to acknowledge, is that the local economy for local farmers would be better, but globally, there's more implications. So I'm going to talk about concession here, like giving them a little so I can refute. There would be nutritional deficiencies in those diets. While it can be conceded that local farmers would see improved, that local farmers would benefit. What did I say I was going to say? The global farmers, right. The global community, and I'm going to say community again, so I'm just referring to a different kind of community, right, would benefit. The global community would see problems. For instance, and then I'm going to go look for my evidence in source C, which was this. Kenya, so it's talking about Kenya exporting green beans to the UK. For instance, Kenya, which exports green beans to the UK, would, actually I'm going to revise that to say Kenyan farmers, which export green beans to the UK, would see less demand. And in fact, I'm going to get that fact from source C. It could threaten the livelihood of 1.5, and I think I'm going to quote this piece right here, right there. So threaten the livelihood of 1.5. Okay. Fact, locavorism would threaten the livelihood of 1.5 million sub-Saharan farmers. On the small scale, this movement may imply, talking about implications, right? May imply benefits, or may imply an increase in local farmers. It can have dire, I spell dire, I think that's it, dire consequences for other economies around the world. So I've gone back to the implications for the community. Now I'm trying to figure out how I can link back to infeasibility. So I'm going to say to harm global economies, I just said economies, to inflict is a good word, inflict this kind of harm to other countries is not only infeasible in the international market, it is also irresponsible. Okay, so like I said, I'm kind of short on time, so I'm going to keep my conclusion simple. Reviewing the different issues and implications of locavorism has an obvious outcome. Practice, however it is presented, is not to the benefit of communities. Rather, it is infeasible and possibly detrimental. Okay, that's all I'm going to say for my conclusion, because that's all the time I got. Detrimental. Alright, I have to revise quick, so I'm just going to look at my topic sentences. One key issue, the availability of these local foods must be considered if a community hopes to implement a locavore movement. Very succinct topic sentence about the availability of food, and we know that's what's in here. Then let's check my analysis. Again, talking about people living in urban areas. For this vast majority, eating local is simply not an option. Recognizing the availability of local food is the primary issue. Got back to the topic sentence. And how practicable locavorism is. Communities like my own and those of urban areas will find the diet infeasible. Connected back. Good. Another issue that is often misinterpreted in regards to this movement is environmental impact. I have issue to talk about what it is, or you could use a synonym as well, but an issue. And the issue is environmental impact. Let's read my last few sentences. While those who support locavorism argue that it is better for the environment, a key issue for communities to consider is that this information is often inaccurate or incomplete. To practically, and I'm connecting back to infeasible because that was kind of lacking, to practically implement this diet, this issue would need more complete study and review. Okay, so I can't, like, practical is the opposite of, is a synonym to feasible, so I connect back. Along with these different issues for consideration, there are even further implications for a community. And then skip down to my analysis. I just realized I didn't cite my source C. On the small scale, this movement may imply an increase in local farmers. It can have dire consequences for other economies around the world. I think this should say while. That makes more sense. So while on the small scale, this movement may imply an increase in local farmers, it can have dire consequences for other economies around the world. To inflict this kind of harm to other countries is not only infeasible in the international market, it is also irresponsible. Draconian and irresponsible. Reviewing the different issues and implications of locavorism has not been settled. Practice, however, is printed is not to the benefit of communities, rather it is infeasible, which I still can't spell, and possibly detrimental. Boom. There it is. That's what I'd hand in.